Good morning. Welcome to Press Edition. It's an awesome feeling to be back. I'm Cheryl-Ann Forman. Now, while we're in the studios of RTC, I'd really like to say thanks to Genesis Next and to Gregson Bean, who's been with us for the past few years. He's worked some miracles and did some stunts for us. There have been programs that have been on and off in 5 minutes, back on again. And so, Greggy, we'd like to say thanks. We're truly indebted to you. And hey, if you ever need us, count on us. We'll be there. And so, good morning, Turks and Caicos. Welcome to First Edition. And what a way to blast us off with the National Honors and Awards Committee. Here in our studios in Providenciales at Radio Turks and Caicos Television Studios, I have with me the chairman of the National Honors and Awards Committee, none other than a very dear friend, someone that I've known all my life, Mr. James Malcolm. Jimmy, good morning. Welcome to First Edition.
Good morning, Cheryl, and thanks for the invitation.
How are you?
I'm great.
It's good to see you.
Great to see you as well, Cheryl.
Thank you. And in our studios in Grand Turk, we have with us the secretary of the National Honors and Awards Committee, Ms. Danica Bean, and Ms. Holly Forbes. Good morning to you both. Ms. Bean, good morning.
Morning. Morning. Hi, good morning. Mr. Chairman, you on your own.
An occasion that's equal to or greater than what had happened in the past.
And I was about to say that this year marks the 50th anniversary of ministerial government, and government has decided to temporarily increase the number of recipients
Yes.
in the country's highest national awards in the three highest categories. And of course, this is the Golden Jubilee. So how important do you think it is, Mr. Chairman, for a young nation like the Turks and Caicos Islands to formally recognize the men and women who have helped build the country for the past 5 decades? How important is it for us to recognize these individuals?
I think it's very important indeed, particularly the journey that we have encountered, and we've had some turbulent periods. Right, and there are, I should say, persons who would have made significant contributions in their own way to the development of Turks and Caicos overall. And I think those persons ought to be recognized in some shape or form. And what a better way to do it is through the National Honors and Awards program. And what a better time to do it is during this 50th anniversary of, of, um, of ministerial governance. Yeah.
Grant Turk, can you hear us? Ms. Bean?
Yes, we can now.
Muted?
Yes, we can now.
Muted.
Mr. Malcolm, for someone hearing about the National Honors and Awards for the very first time, what are they? And why should every Turks and Caicos Islander care? What are the National Honors and Awards?
For the very first
Okay,
time.
essentially,
What are they?
it goes
And
back
why should every
a
Turks and
decade plus the program itself. And but let me first mention that the committee that I'm the chairperson for, we work with a team that's within the Ministry of Public Policy, and we collaborate with them. And our role essentially is to run the program externally, and they do the internal segment of it. For example, the ceremony will be dealt with internally. Yes. So what we do, we run the program in the sense that we put the notices out there, we put the flyers out there, we put public announcements out there, and the object is to garner as many participants that possibly can be garnered, right? So that's essentially what the role of the committee. And of course, once those numbers come in, then we have to go through the process of deliberation to vet them, see who qualify, who doesn't qualify for the various categories of nominations. Yeah, so essentially that's what we do.
If I said that some islands participate or participated more actively than others, would that be a fair statement?
I'm not sure if it would be. What I had done in recent time, I went back and looked at from 2014 through to 2022, and I had to do that to make sure that I have a good idea of persons who would have been nominated in the past. And if I were to judge from the names that I saw, I think that there's a balance across the islands.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a balance across the
Because I think
islands.
there's a public consensus that some islands participate more than others. If you're just joining us, this is the new season of First Edition, and our technicians have told us that we now have our guest in Grand Turk with us. Madam Secretary, Ms. Bean, and Ms. Forbes in Grand Turk, can you hear us?
And our technician told us that we now have our guest in Grand Turk with us. Madam Secretary, Ms. Bean, and Ms. Forbes in Grand Turk, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Madam Secretary, Ms. Bean, and Ms. Forbes in Grand Turk, can you hear us?
Yes, 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 ma'am.
It's a delay.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's a delay.
Yes, yes, yes.
For the benefit of our listeners and viewers, can you guide us through the process? What does one do if one wants to nominate someone for an honor or award?
Yeah, I don't see.
be a little off timing for him. Go ahead.
Morning, TCI. My name is Danica Bean. I am the current secretary for the National Honors and Awards Committee. Ms. Forman, to answer your question, the current process, what happens when a person is nominated, it is asked of that individual, the nominator, to provide the relevant evidence that support the nomination that you're making for that individual. We ask that you fill out the application form to the best of your ability and include the necessary evidence, whether it be newspaper clippings, whether it be a video, which can be submitted online or it can be submitted physically, and it would be submitted to the committee through the office of the premier. If you're in one of the outer islands, it can be sent to your local DC's office, and the office of the premier will collect those submissions. Once the nomination process is concluded, the office of the premier seeks out all of those submissions from all of the various islands and submits it to the committee to go through the deliberation process. The committee goes through the nominations and comes up with their listing after they have done all of the necessary research to ensure that the individuals whom they have selected are indeed worthy of the award. And then it is submitted to cabinet. Cabinet then decides whether the listing is indeed verified. And once that is completed from cabinet and sanctioned by cabinet, it is then gazetted for 6 weeks. During that time, the general public is allowed to send in whether or not they are in agreement or disagreement. And if they can send in objections or they can send in sanctions to the office of the premier, to the committee through the office of the premier. And then we take that back to the committee for deliberations. And once we have that final listing yet again, we send it back to cabinet for their recognition of it. And once cabinet decides that this list is verifiable, then we can say this is the final list and start contacting the awardees. And during that time, prepare for the actual ceremony.
Let me stick with you for a minute, Ms. Bean. Some people tend to write a lot of fluff, or they make things lengthy. Does length matter, or is it quality of evidence that's important?
Well, this is basically a question for the committee, because I am only a representative of the office. But we encourage the committee to know that what the listing that they are coming up with to present to cabinet, that they are indeed deserving of the award. That's why the committee is encouraged also to do their investigation as well and not rely on what is only sent forth by the nominator. That and it is important. That's why it's so important. The makeup of the committee itself. It usually is a cross section of individuals from around the islands. Because you're looking at persons from all around the country. So therefore, you have to have people who are cognizant of persons within the communities and their contributions and can provide verifiable support along with the evidence that they are going to investigate to say that this person is a reputable person that's deserving of the nomination and award that they have been nominated for. Person that's deserving of the nomination and award that they have been nominated for.
Good, thank you. I see Ms. Forbes beside you, and I have Mr. Forbes who just joined me here in the studio, so welcome to him as well. Now I'm just going to throw these questions out because, as Ms. Bean just pointed out to me, I'm not sure who does what on the committee, or perhaps all members can join in. I'm curious to know, because I really don't know, and this program is all about educating and informing. Has the committee held any sort of community meetings, town halls, or any sort of public information sessions across the islands prior to the National Honors and Awards being established this year? Anything like that was held?
Prior to the establishment of the Committee of the National Honors Award, there was no, for this year, there was no publication prior to the establishment. However, after the establishment, and once the committee would have advertised that we're open for nomination, there was various publications to disseminate through the islands regarding the open period of the nomination. Now, let's bear in mind also that this committee would have commenced in February. Prior to this committee, you wouldn't have had a National Honors Award for the past 2 years, correct? We didn't have a...
Nothing for
2025, there was none.
25.
2025 was the
Yeah.
last.
That's a gap.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's a 2 years, about a 2 years gap?
2 years pause.
Yeah.
2 years
yeah.
pause. So we were more of a challenge of reviving the energy of national honors, and that's also one of the reasons why you understand why cabinet would have decided to reopen to increase
Yeah.
numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, can one person nominate several individuals? For instance, could I nominate you, Mr. Malcolm, Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Yes,
So I could nominate more than one person?
definitely.
Yes?
In different categories.
Yes. Okay. And what would you say are some of the biggest mistakes people make when completing nominations, if there are any?
That's a very good question. We sit on the board, about 6 of us as members, and we will say perfect person, wrong category. For example, the categories of like the Order of the Turks and Caicos and the meritorious awards, such awards. I believe persons should carefully read the categories and carefully place the person they're nominating, the nominee in the correct criteria. We have seen challenge here, and again, the board cannot change. Once we receive that application for that particular category, we cannot change the category. So again, there is a website, and I'm not sure if we would have touched on the website, but there's a website. That website is www.TCI National Honors, that's honor, HONOUR, awards. and yep,
.com.
.com. And it categorized the areas of nominating.
And it also gives guidance as to what the committee will be looking for.
It gives the criteria.
The criteria,
Yeah.
with regards to criteria.
Okay,
yes.
but let's stay there then. So many people genuinely don't understand the differences. So could you explain in simple language the difference between the order of the Turks and Caicos Islands, the Patriotic Award, and the Meritorious Award? What's the difference? Anybody?
He's best at that. That's
Okay,
his
so
area.
okay, I will again refer to the webpage. The literature is very simple terms, and I'm just going to go briefly off the webpage. The order of the Turks and Caicos Islands, it mentions that this may be granted to a Turks and Caicos Islander who serve distinction in fields of discipline. The order of the Turks and Caicos Islanders may be conferred upon a person during his lifetime or posthumously. The order of the Turks and Caicos Islands may be granted to one or more, two persons. All right, and this is straightforward information of the webpage, and we'll touch on the Patriotic Awards. All right, that Patriotic Award says may be granted again to a Turks and Caicos Islander who has demonstrated a keen sense of national conscience and rendered exceptional sacrificial services. Very important, sacrificial. And we've seen where persons would nominate something that's patriotic, doing something that is not sacrificial.
Yes.
You know, great person, great application, wrong category.
Right.
All right, and finally, I'll touch on the Meritorious Service Medal, okay? The Meritorious speaks about bravery and sacrifice, humanitarian acts, okay? And it will go into say, has given sacrificial and meritorious service in the field of service, inherently challenging, has performed brave human act that's within the Turks and Caicos mind. Bear in mind, the Constitution allows for consideration that is in Turks and Caicos, regionally and internationally. All right, so just a brief nutshell of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ms. Forbes, going back to our guest in Grand Turk, having sat on the committee, has it been your experience that an individual could qualify for more than one award? Looking at some of the nominations, is it your experience that a person could qualify for more than one award? Looking at some of the...
Is it your experience that a person could vote?
Yes, we've seen that. We've seen where one person can qualify for more than one award, but they are only nominated for one. And as Mr. Forbes mentioned, as a committee member, we're not allowed to shift or put persons in the correct category. Also, we've seen persons been nominated and they are, you know them from around the community, you know that they are eligible or they do deserve the award, but the application comes in with no supporting evidence. They do deserve the award, but the application comes in with no supporting evidence.
Could someone receive more than one national honor in their lifetime? In a different category?
Yes.
But they certainly could?
They certainly could, yes.
Okay. Many people wonder whether politics ever enters the equation. And recently we've seen comments regarding particularly the whole category of national hero. How independent, and I think Ms. Bean touched on it, but how independent is the committee?
I would let the chairman also.
When you say
comment on this.
independent, and with regard to...
Is there any interference from the
Oh,
political executive?
okay, I would say zero interference.
Okay.
Zero
That's what I was hoping
interference.
for.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
And I think we all are independent-minded. There's not a single one of us can influence.
Well, I think I've seen that from your writings, Mr. Malcolm.
A very strong chair,
Yes.
I tell you, or principal.
Yes.
So, I'm a hard nut to crack.
Yeah.
He's a hard, oh yes.
So
Oh, yes.
for politics to warm its way in, that for me is almost an impossibility for that to happen.
Mr. Forbes, you agree?
Oh well, I tell you what. Whenever he's chairing a meeting, what do you call it? The ordinance.
The ordinance
is on his right. Is on the right side of him. And every meeting he starts with a prayer and a review of the ordinance. So you're reminded at every meeting we are acting upon these principles.
Yeah.
Ladies in Granta, do you agree? No political interference in your committee?
Not the lead. Carter. Okay.
Okay, I want to stick with that because this year we've decided to be as open and as straightforward and honest as we can because we've had some comments that we tend to go easy when we have some guests. And so you're our first guest, and so you get to be in the hot seats. Can the government overrule the committee's recommendations?
Well, okay, like Ms. Bean had mentioned earlier, the committee vets all of the nominations that come in, and those that qualify in the various categories, they're the ones that we deliberate on. And at the end of that deliberation exercise, the committee would come up a list of various nominees in the various categories. That list goes to cabinet, and again vetted by cabinet, and cabinet can accept.
Yes.
Cabinet can say, well, look, there's something that we have reservations about, and we would like for the committee to revisit.
Yes.
They wouldn't give any instructions as to whether it should be the person should be eliminated or whatever the case may be, but they would instruct us to revisit the exercise. Yeah, that could happen.
Right.
And of course, as expected, I'm new to the committee. This is my first time around. But once we revisit that exercise, then it goes back to cabinet again. Hopefully that time around that everything would be ironed out.
Does the opposition have any role in this process at all?
Yes, the committee is made up of 7 members. The ruling party, or the administration, nominates the chair plus 3, that's 4, and the opposition nominates the other 3. So that's essentially the extent of the role of the lead of the opposition, nominate 3 persons to the committee.
So you would say that there's bipartisanship support for this National Honors Committee?
Yes. Very
Yes,
balanced.
very,
Yes?
very, very much so.
Okay, all right. And how do you reassure the public that these awards are earned and not politically influenced?
Again, like the chairman was mentioned, with the members being very balanced, appointed by the premier and appointed by the opposition, the leader of the opposition. There's a balance. And again, on the board that I am on, there's a person from each one of the islands. Yeah, everyone is from, and we all know everyone that comes up on these applications. And I trust my board members to give their best judgments. There are names that will appear from Salke and Granta, obviously Salke. I know no one from Salke, but the board will say, yes, this gentleman, absolutely, well deserved. We'll call and do follow-ups on if we need more information. So we keep it very mutual. There haven't been many arguments, there haven't been any dismay, mutual respect, mutual, straightforward.
I was actually hoping you would say that these nominations come from the public.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Well said, from
So,
the public.
yeah. So it
Yeah.
absolutely has nothing to do with you. They come in from
Yeah.
the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to add to what he said, we try utmost best to to exercise professionalism
Yes.
and fairness, okay, void of any bias, because if that's recognized, it will be dealt with immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Madam Secretary she's present on every meeting to advise the board, and we're being advised very well.
Yeah.
Madam Chairman is very versed with the National Honors Award. She sat on, I believe, from the commencement of this committee, she sat on those boards, and so we're well guided.
I think we've lost the secretary. They're back? So the secretary is back, and she had mentioned to us earlier about the supporting documentation. I just wanted to go back to Ms. Bean and have her reiterate for us, for our listeners and our viewers, the types of evidence that strengthen a nomination are testimonials, newspaper articles, photographs, certificates, letters of recommendation, or historical records. Are all these considered, Ms. Bean, in a nomination?
Certificates, letters of recommendation, or historical records are all considered to be in a nomination.
Each one that you just named is absolutely acceptable. So all of what you just said, yes, those are excellent sources of supporting documentation that the committee welcomes as information that can be used in order for the committee to deliberate on your nominee. Information that can be used in order for the committee.
Now, for any of you, for over many decades, but has very little formal documentation, how can their contribution still be fairly assessed?
We've had situations where applications were submitted very poorly, lack of material, and again, someone on the board, but of course not the individual, and we did. First point of contact will be the nominator, the person who nominate. The information is there. We call them, then we call persons who work. For example, if that individual would have worked at a high school, we call the principal, we call secretaries, and we get information. Very easy, very small.
Yeah.
Right. And in addition to what Ronaldo has said, there's a part of the process that we can call it verification. When even after the period of deliberation, you can set aside a couple of nominees that perhaps need more in-depth investigation. Okay, because you have this gut feeling that there's something good about this person that's deserving of an award. So then you go out and investigate and try to dig more deeper into what sort of information that could be garnered to support what had been submitted. So, and that's a very important aspect of the deliberation.
Yeah.
Because that sort of thing creeps in from time to time. And you know, when you're going through them, you will get this feeling that this person is deserving, but there's something missing. There's a missing element here that needs to connect all of this information that we have. So you have to go out. We can't guess. It's not a guessing game.
Yeah.
So we have to go out and verify whether this and get and fill the missing gaps. Very important indeed.
Yeah. Ms. Forbes, what would you say to someone who knows an outstanding individual but feels intimidated by the nomination process?
What would you say to someone who knows an outstanding individual but feels intimidated by the nomination process?
Well, I would say the easiest way to nominate is through the website. It's pretty user-friendly. You can input the information, you can upload your photos. So don't be intimidated by the process. If you see someone around your community that is deserving and you know fits any one of the categories, go to the website, fill out the form, attach your supporting documents, and give that person a try. It's not a tedious process at all. Documents and give that person a try.
Good. Now, Mr. Chairman, we live in a very small society where very little seems confidential. Is there a scoring or assessment framework used by the committee? And can the public have confidence that every nomination receives equal consideration?
Yes, there's a metrics, if I may coin it, not coin, but use a term that's being used to assess each and every application. And I say each and application because at the very beginning of that matrix, we have to determine, let's say for example, we're reviewing a nomination, right? We have to determine whether that in a particular category, we have to first determine whether we should go further with it. In other words, at the outset, and it may appear that this person doesn't fit the profile sufficiently well to go forward. But we won't stop there. We'll make sure that is the case, rather than just going ahead and doing that. So that's the first process. So when we're going to go deeper into the exercise, we are now dealing with persons who would have qualified. Now, for each of those categories, the criteria that was mentioned earlier, the metrics will have a scoring mechanism. And each member of the committee has the opportunity to affix their individual number. Mm-hmm. In other words, if the category demands that you score out of 90, Ronaldo may give 80, I may give 70, someone else may give 85. So at the end of the day, we add those together and then get the sum divided by the number to get the average.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And we go through that with a fine-tooth comb in terms of whether the person qualifies or not in each area.
Okay.
Each area of that category. Mm-hmm. Because it's not just one, it's about the metrics will call for at least about 4 on average. So you're scoring 4 categories in a sphere, because each one of us would give our independent score. It's not like we're sitting around the table and say, well, I think they deserve the medal. I think they deserve because of no. You not only think so, you need to score it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, national honors, I think, can be deeply personal for families and communities. So if someone believes that their nominee met all the published criteria but was not selected, is there any formal appeal or review mechanism, or are the committee's decisions final?
Ms. Bean would be best.
Ms. Bean,
she had touched
I understand you're best to answer this.
She touched it earlier. she has it at her fingertips.
I understand you're best to answer this.
Sorry, there's a delay. So I'm just now catching what was said. To answer the question, I mentioned it early that when there is the listing of awardees published in the Gazette, the general public is thereby notified by the public published in the Gazette. The general public is thereby notified by the public. Comes
Oops.
to write into to the committee those objections. It is then taken back to the committee to see whether it is verifiable. And there is we go through another process of verifying that the initial decision is just. And then if the committee then says that some sort of amendment need to be made to that initial listing of awardees, that will have to be done. And we have to write back to cabinet to say that this is the listing, and provide just cause as to why it was amended. This is the listing, and provide just cause as to why it was amended.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Now, I want to touch on this before we go. Many people believe the criteria for becoming a national hero are exceptionally stringent. Is that intentional, or do you believe the current threshold strikes the right balance?
I think this one deserves a response from each of us. And actually, I will go first.
Okay.
My personal view, right, because I can't speak for the others, with regards to your question, number one. But there's another side. The Act also specifies what is expected.
Right, what the
the
criteria is,
decision
yes.
making. However, it is broad enough for us to use our instincts to figure out what the Act seeks to achieve. Okay? If you're going to consider someone for a national hero, okay, we're looking a bit above profound, outstanding performance, for example, right?
Sacrificial is the word.
Sacrificial as well. As we have to step it up a little, right? And to the point where you go into the territory where the person performance is of national standing. The performance is as such that it lives on. Okay, it becomes a living memory, and then the generations down the road would learn of it, and they too would recognize that this person wasn't ordinary. Okay. For example, in politics, and I use politics because when I look across the region, a lot of the heroes in the various islands, Barbados, Trinidad, and other islands, they came from political background. As for Turks and Caicos, I would say that perhaps the scope for a national hero emerging out of politics again would be that person who would have advocated for greater autonomy for the country, meaning leading towards independence, would have campaigned, okay, on that premise, would have taken leadership of a party, and again, campaign on that premise, would have lived it during the course of his or her administration, and would have attained it during the course of their administration. And that person, once they take this country into independence, would be qualified, in my view, to be awarded a national hero. That's just an example. But of course, national heroes can emerge out of aviation.
Everyday people.
Everyday people. It can emerge out of sports. I was just watching Barbados news the other day where these Sir Garfield Sobers,
Yes.
through cricket,
Yeah.
he made it a national hero of Barbados.
Rihanna is a national hero.
Rihanna is a national hero. So it doesn't
Culture.
Can be, like you say, you specified, an ordinary person can do it, yes. So I'll give the floor to the others.
Yeah.
You know, I'll concur with the chairman. Again, I like to go to the ordinance. One of the key components about the Order of the National Hero, it strikes straight to the top. It speaks about heaven. It speaks about criminality. There must be no form of criminal rackets. That's number one. And I will say that and I'll leave that there.
So, Ms. Holly, the chairman said everybody should chime in on this one. Do we believe that the criteria for becoming a national hero are exceptionally stringent, or do we believe the current threshold strikes the right balance?
In my opinion, it strikes the right balance. As the chairman mentioned, we would want someone of integrity, someone, because the title that it holds is the highest honor. So I think the requirements are perfect. I don't think it needs to be watered down, because once we try to get it watered down so that other persons can qualify, then we be having persons that's not worthy of the award. So in my opinion, it's perfect the way it is. Having persons that's not worthy of the award. So in my opinion, it's perfect the way it is.
Ms. Bean, what's your view?
Again, let me say that I am just a secretary. I have no voting privileges on the committee. I only report between the committee and the ministry. However, the Order of the National Hero, as the ordinance states, is the highest award among those under the National Honors and Awards. And the ordinance states that it is extraordinary, it is outstanding achievement, it is in particular merit, and it could be of service to the Turks and Caicos Islands, or to humanity at large. So if you can find an individual who can tick majority of those boxes, then you would have an individual who's deserving of that particular honor. Then you would have an individual who's deserving of that particular honor.
Thank you all so very much. Well, I have a view from a different angle. As a born Turks and Caicos Islander, I have a view from a different angle. And one criticism raised is that we tend to honor people only after they've passed away. We seem to honor an award posthumously when unable to receive or appreciate the award. Why does that seem to be the prevailing culture in the Turks and Caicos Islands? Across the Caribbean, and the chairman just mentioned it, there are countries with living national heroes and recipients of their highest honors. Barbados, as we just said, has Rihanna. And of course, Sir Garfield Sobers, as the chairman just mentioned, only recently died. The Cayman Islands, up to July 5th, 2026, had the Honorable Francine Eldona Jackson. And of course, St. Kitts and Nevis has its first Prime Minister, the Right Excellent Right Honorable Sir Kennedy Simmons. Though the fifth national hero of St. Kitts, he is the country's first living national person to receive the honor of national hero. Then there's Sir Vivian Richards of Antigua, who's a living national hero. So why has the Turks and Caicos Islands not embraced that approach more readily?
I mean, speaking from I am among the youngest person on this committee, and I grew up in a system where the national hero of the Turks and Caicos is Honorable Jakes McCartney, all right? And you know that, okay, he didn't survive. You know that he died, and he then there became the national hero. For some reason, it just plays in your mind that a national hero must be deceased. The cultural stigma that this person must be deceased, which you draw reference to the Caribbean islands. that's not the case. The person can be a living person. And it's something that we should definitely take into consideration. And moving forward, we should broaden our minds and consider that you don't have to be deceased to be the national hero. Again, we always refer to Honorable Jakes McCarthy. We always go back. Well, Mr. Jakes McCarthy fought drunkenly. He died in the plane crash. You don't have to die in a plane crash. See? So again, we have to broaden our minds.
And if I may share a perspective likewise, and I would say that we're still a young nation. And perusing the awards, like I say, I could have only gone back as far as what was available, which is 2014, when the awards began. That's only like, my maths are bad enough as a banker.
But 10.
But
10.
a decade, right?
It's,
And I guess the scope for being a national hero, like Cheryl had mentioned, it could be an ordinary person.
Yeah.
But the question is, who came forward, and coming forward meaning who would have qualified themselves to be awarded in living memory, right? And that is difficult to put our fingers on. And because if that was the case, I was hopeful that they would have been one of the persons that are being named as a nominee. Okay, not that there were none, but the ones that would be more forthcoming are those who have passed.
yeah.
So yes, your assumption is correct. It would appear that the country tend to gravitate towards nominating persons who have passed as opposed to those alive. But I would say that we're still a young nation,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
certain that that will be coming soon. And I don't want to preempt any names, but look at, for example, I take Lyndon Gardner,
Yeah.
and the progress that he's making. He could become, in my view, he is a national hero in the making. And I'm hoping that he will get it before he decides to go on the other side.
We're just out of time. I'm going to start with the ladies in Grand Turk. Miss Bean and Miss Forbes, if there's one message that you hope our listeners and viewers takes away from today's discussion about the National Honors and Awards, what would that message be?
For our listeners and viewers, takes away from today's discussion about the National Honors and Awards, what would that be?
I would encourage everyone listening to look around your community. Think about people who have served, sacrificed, achieved, particularly those persons who have done so quietly. We have a lot of people that go out of their way to do things quietly. The national honors gives you an opportunity as a country to say, we see you, we value you, we see your contribution. So please look around, whoever you feel that is deserving for any category of awards. You can either go to the website, nominate persons, upload your pictures, videos, whatever evidence you have, and give that person a chance. Nominate persons, upload your pictures, videos, whatever evidence you have.
Of Ms. Forbes, and say, I encourage all persons living in the Turks and Caicos Islands and abroad, all Turks and Caicos Islanders, to review, to think deep, to really search and come up with persons who you feel are deserving of recognition. This is the opportunity, as Ms. Forman says, to honor and recognize persons who are still with us, and even those who have passed on, who are a valuable contribution to our country, to give them the deserving honor and recognition that they deserve for the sacrifices that they went through during their lifetime for our country. Our nomination process is still going on until the 17th of August. You can go to our website to nominate a person, or you can get a form from one of the offices, one of the office of Premier and Grantor or Providenciales, or one of the DC's offices throughout the TCI, and get a nomination form and complete that and send it in of that person or persons who you think should be deserving of a national honor. Let us be more open to recognizing our own. The National Honors and Awards is that opportunity to do so. So let us embrace this process. Let us embrace this particular opportunity to give recognition and honor to our own. So that is what I would encourage our people to do. And honor to our own. So that is what I would encourage our people to do.
Mr. Forbes?
I think everyone had just touched on everything, but I just want to, again, for the website, to encourage person to visit the website and nominate their person. And the website again is TCI, the National Honors, just honors with HONOURS, and awards. So that's TCI, that's www.tcinationalhonorsанdawards.com. On the webpage at the upper tab, there's a form link. Click the form, fill out the information. You can upload PDF files, pictures, PNG, all are capable to be uploaded on the very user-friendly. That's it for me.
Mr. Chairman, last word is yours.
Yes, the other three have said a mouthful. But what I would like to say to the public out there is that, remember, persons cannot nominate themselves. So they are relying on, or the program is relying on you to nominate those persons. The program, or the open period, expires on the 17th of August. So I would encourage persons out there to take advantage of the remaining days and nominate those persons who are deserving of an award. And don't hesitate, leave it till the last moment, because the last moment would pass and you still wouldn't have done it. So do it today, do it now.
Mm-hmm. This has been First Edition. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we thank you for your service. Those of you who are no longer with us, to the families of those individuals, we thank you for having loaned them to us. We thank you for the service that they gave. We say thanks to the National Honors and Awards Committee for joining us here on our very first program on our new season, First Edition. Join us again next Tuesday. I'm Cheryl-Ann Forman.